This is the last video about abs you'll ever need to watch. Everybody already has a six-pack, including you. All you need to uncover your six-pack, if it doesn't show already, is the right training, including 3 key moves and mindset, which I'll show you in this video. And then you'll find it just like buried treasure. Plus, even if you already have a visible six-pack, how to build a rock-solid core for lifelong strength. It's how me and my students at Pac-Rimian Athletics are able to do V-stands, press handstands, and human flags as basic strength. But it doesn't matter how good it all looks if what's underneath it is atrophied, literally and metaphorically. This video will go in depth from the basics to the most advanced. In fact, people who have a six-pack or think they have a strong core will be blown away. I remember a long time ago, I thought my core was strong and I had a six-pack. But the day after I learned a backflip, which is really just a standing jump and a reverse crunch in the air done ballistically, my core was destroyed. But I'll show you the 3 moves plus the mindset to make it happen. As I said, everybody already has a six-pack. It's called the rectus abdominis. In between each are connective tissue. In the middle is the linea alba. Depending on individual anatomy, some can have an 8-pack, and even rarer, again, depending on how the muscles are divided, some can have a 10-pack. People cannot have less than a six-pack. It's just not possible. The six-pack is entirely aesthetic. It does not demonstrate how strong a person is. It doesn't even provide evidence of fitness level. And on a deeper level, it will not determine how healthy your relationships, career, or spiritual life are. But if a person is training regularly and does not have a six-pack or at least visible abs, it is evidence that something is off with your training, and we could help you fix it in this video. And still further, the six-pack is but one small section of the core, which protects your spine and allows for all movements of life and athleticism. The core is made of the serratus, obliques, the transverse abdominis, the iliacus, and the psoas, which is why I say that it doesn't matter how good a person's six-pack looks if what's underneath is atrophied. For what good is a sexy six-pack if our attitudes and behaviors are even worse? And what good is a six-pack if a person has constant back pain and can't do a basic V-stand, press handstand, or human flag? Let's talk about the training first, then the mindset. Here's the exact moves that we build for core. This will naturally build your abs as a byproduct. Again, you already have a six-pack. It's just either the muscles of your six-pack are small and not well developed, or your six-pack is covered by a layer of excess tissue. Nutrition corrects the latter, and the moves I'm going to show you build the former. Regarding nutrition, the biggest principle that you should apply is whole, real foods, water, and mindset, which we'll talk about in a minute. But remember, before we get into the moves, don't make the mistake of confusing videos for instruction. That's a guaranteed way to get stuck, frustrated, and injured. Find a good community and coach. First key move. Folding in half. You start with the basics. I'll show you in a second, like 5 rounds of 20 reps of tuck-ups sitting on the ground. But if a person can't do a V-stand, their core is underdeveloped and compromised. I always share the pinnacle move first as a way of expressing the goal towards which to strive. But you obviously don't start with the V-stand. The rectus abdominis is responsible for folding in half, which is literally what the V-stand does. Now, most of regular mainstream fitness will do laying leg lifts or hanging leg raises. These are the most basic, even remedial levels of strength, and continuing with stuff like that will keep you at that level. Just so you know, that's a life principle. You always have to keep going for higher levels, and then that gives you a buffer for daily life. But if that's where you're at currently, awesome, keep going, though don't stay there. So for example, you might start with the tuck-ups I mentioned and then do V-ups sitting on the ground. But what we want to do is gradually move in the direction of gravity-defying strength, because that's literally what strength is, the ability to resist gravity. The V-stand accomplishes this. You start with laying leg raises, then tuck-ups, then V-ups, then eventually L and V stands. And then from there, the real work begins, such as handstand kata training like you see here, which builds phenomenal longevity and sustainability. PJ had herniated discs in his back. He had problems with his core. At 53 years old, look at those abs and that demonstrable strength demonstrated through the V-stand. Simply outstanding. Second key move. Twist it. But again, you don't just dive into this pinnacle move. It begins with hanging from the bar, then tuck-ups, and then twisting while in the tucked position. The very basics of building strength. If a person can't do a one-arm meat hook, they're compromised for twisting in daily life and athletics. But you build it step by step through hanging L twists, then wipers, then a one-arm hanging V-up, and then this builds into the one-arm meat hook. And I know all of this might sound impossible to you right now, but with the right mindset and approach, it's possible and will actually build a strong strong core, not just the appearance of one in a dehydrated six-pack. You'll actually be athletic and strong. And you can see how much strength is required when you stop and think about it. And again, there might be more intermediary moves that you personally require, as well as shoulder and hamstring mobility that need developed, or iliacus and psoas in order to lift the legs. But all in due time, grasshopper, and little at a time with the goal in mind. And then this becomes longer, more advanced routines of strength and skill put together like in ninja strength katas. When Venny started training, he had a whole list of injuries, 5 hip surgeries, spinal fusion. He did some DVD courses and some open gym on his own for years, and he got himself to a little bit of a handstand and just chucked a backflip by himself. But when we started working together, we took a holistic approach, building strength like the one-arm meat hook. Simultaneously, he attained a muscle up, and then 20 in a row, and then all 10 pinnacle moves of ninja strength. And then he became level 10 in ninja strength of Powerbatics, plus a six-pack in his 50s. A ton of this has to do with mindset, which we'll cover in a moment. But compare his first 5 years of training with his second 5 years. Imagine it was just 10 years of consecutive training this way. Third key move. If you're not training horizontal suspension like front lever and human flag, then the main muscle of your core that protects you for life, the transverse abdominis, is weak and exposed. And I don't care how good your six-pack looks. And the absolute easiest way to start is something I mention in many of my other videos, and that is the hollow hold, which is far greater than any sit-ups, crunches, single-arm dumbbell sit-up, laying leg raises, or any other simple basic mainstream fitness exercises you'll find. But don't stop there. The hollow hold should progress to dragon flags and then the front lever. Now don't get me wrong, it's not like a person just jumps from dragon flags to the front lever. If it was easy, everybody would do it, but it's not. It doesn't mean you can't, rather you really should, and become the example of change that you want to see in yourself and others. That's how I try to think anyway. Not perfect, we're all works in progress. And I should mention not only front lever, but also human flag, which is side suspension. Victoria was a personal trainer, but she realized when she enrolled with us that she had absolutely zero core, despite having a six-pack. We started her with negative sit-ups actually, not even going up, but just coming down. We progressed all the way to her doing front levers though. Plus, she was able to develop the katas of ninja strength and she was ecstatic. Now, the most important key, a positive mindset. Without it, you won't get anywhere. It takes the fruit of the spirit. It takes discipline. It takes harder work than you realize. You will have seasons of trial and tribulation. You might even make tremendous progress and then feel like you went 10 steps backwards. Let me tell you something very important. You won't make progress if you're not happy and positive. And even if you do make progress, none of it matters if you're not happy and positive. Other people don't care. The people who take time out of their day to say negative or hurtful things are the ones living negative lives, and they're projecting that on you. Stop obsessing about how you look. Work on what you can do. And that leads to the byproduct of a six-pack and other positive things in life. And I'll tell you flat out right now, be healthy, happy, get strong, learn cool things, even impressive things, but be even stronger mentally. Help others. Do good work while you're still alive. If a six-pack comes as a byproduct, perfect. If not, don't stress, because that will not help you. In fact, stress hormones will be secreted and make things even more difficult. Now, how do you implement? How do you really put it all together? Of course, you could subscribe, but it's totally free to opt in and connect with me and my team, and you'll get more info, free videos, success stories, email trainings, and event information like competitions with huge cash prizes and travel events like the one coming up in Spain in a few weeks. But more importantly, it starts with a mindset of positivity and doing moves like we discussed here. You could schedule a complimentary coaching call. It's absolutely free, but yes, you've got to qualify. And the reason I built this is because I saw how physical therapists were limited in their practice, only able to build people back up so far, and at the same time how coaching and bodyweight type athleticism is usually reserved for younger children where they're injured and retired by 15 years old. Yet quality training for adults just couldn't be found anywhere. But if you do want to train with us, you'll be able to dive in literally in the next 24 to 48 hours and be working with me and my team of doctorate physical therapist coaches, and you'll make more progress in the next 2 weeks than in the past 2 decades. But I'm just trying to show you what you can really achieve, and it starts with adding little pieces like these 3 key moves to your training, plus mindset and nutrition. I promise you, you're gonna see massive changes in your health, your strength, and your movement. See you in the next video and in training soon.